Joining me, the President of the Australian Jewish Association, David Adler. I am almost at the point, David, where I cannot be shocked anymore by what we've seen coming out of Israel, or moved anymore by what I see out of Israel. And then I watch this funeral procession and tens of thousands of Israelis lining the streets. I think about those two little boys. I think about their mum, all buried together tonight in the one coffin as she held onto them for dear life when she was taken hostage. And I think of her husband left behind. And I say to anyone in this country, if you have stood up for Palestine, if you've protested for Palestine, if you've given cover to Hamas, tonight you've got to hang your head in shame.
Absolutely, Peter. This tragedy, this barbaric example, this beyond words, has become symbolic of the whole conflict. The youngest hostages were the Bibas children. The youngest was just 9 months. And it does get seriously bad beyond imagination when the forensic results of their death were released. And Israel is saying that in about November 2023, in other words, 1 month after the 7th of October terrorism, they were murdered, the kids were murdered with bare hands, strangled. Now, there are medical signs that you can detect when that happens. I won't go into the detail, it's pretty gory stuff. But can you imagine these terrorists strangling to death these young children and then using the information as propaganda? This is the cultural difference between a democratic society, which is Israel, which values life, which values human rights, versus the extreme barbaric terrorists that we see in Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. And if ever you wanted the peak example of the dangers of bringing certain cultures together, this is it. And the Bibas family will be remembered forever as emblematic of this conflict. And anyone who supports the side that did this really, are tragically misguided. They've swallowed all the worst of the propaganda that you can imagine.
Let's trace those comments that you just made then about values all the way through to our Foreign Minister, because we now have learned that when she was at the United Nations for official meetings, we know who Penny Wong met. We now know who she did not meet. And it's telling. Here's an exchange with Liberal Senator Dave Sharma, of course, former ambassador to Israel, in estimates.
Did you have any meetings with Israel's representatives or ministers or leaders?
My recollection is the Foreign Minister of Israel did not attend. Had the Foreign Minister attended, I would have had that opportunity.
Did you seek a meeting with Israel or Israel's representative?
Well, my counterpart didn't attend.
But, I think Prime Minister Netanyahu was there. The Israeli permanent representative is obviously there.
Well, Senator, I would usually engage with counterparts.
So she didn't meet anyone from Israel, not the leader, not other senior representatives. She's using sort of a BS get out of jail clause that her counterpart wasn't there, but I've seen plenty of examples where foreign ministers meet with others than their counterpart. But this was made worse, David, by the fact she did have a sit down with Iranian officials and officials from the Palestinian Authority, and none of them have foreign ministers that I understand that she met with. They're not counterparts in that respect. I think this is outrageous.
Peter, it's outrageous, it's disgraceful. It tells you everything you need to know about Foreign Minister Penny Wong, and we would say she is the worst Foreign Minister this country has ever had, certainly with regard to Middle East policy. She went to the UN in order to make a speech, which is now infamous, highly critical of Israel, basically telling Israel not to fight Hamas in Gaza, not to fight Hezbollah in Lebanon, and advocated for the establishment of a Palestinian state. So not only did she fail to consult with the Israeli representatives that were there in order to perhaps better understand the implications of the content of her speech, but she had meetings with the representatives of Iran, she had meetings with the representatives of the Palestinian Authority, and she had a meeting with representatives of UNRWA, even though there's overwhelming evidence of their association with Hamas. So she basically had an agenda to meet with the enemies of Israel while ignoring and not meeting with the representatives of Israel from whom she actually might have learnt something to moderate her speech. So if we were not so close to an election, I think there'd be a very good case to demand her resignation, but now it's going to be up to the Australian people as to whether she will retain office or not in a matter of weeks. And the damage that she has done in Middle East policy has been dreadful. It's recoverable with a change of direction because there are shared values.
Change of government, David. Change of government.
100% in terms of policy to the Middle East towards Israel. And she's also distanced us from the United States in this sphere as well. The Trump administration has become stronger in supporting Israel, in supporting the democratic ally of the Middle East. So we've not only distanced ourselves and done great damage to Israel, we're also distanced ourselves from our major defence ally, the United States.
I'll leave it there, David. Thank you for your time.